Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. Alrighty, so in this episode I have been furiously crafting the rest of the stuff. So if we take a look here, I crafted a space station assembler, space station ID chip, satellite builder, astrobody data processor, oxygen vent with CO2 scrubbers, gravity controllers, a warp core and a warp controller. We already had prosperity ore, dimensional shard ore, and mana infused ore from our void miners, so those were good to go. But now we are looking to make our space station. So I ran into an immediate problem in that I was a good boy and brought my rocket home, but I need to build the space station here. So I blew out this wall through two or three spaces, and we put down another launch pad adjacent with the structure tower. So hopefully these two launch pads can share that structure tower. And now we're going to try and wire up the satellite builder. Is that what I'm looking for? I think so. Oops, and I forgot to turn on my flex point. Alrighty, so basically what we're going to do for a satellite is just build a platform for the rocket to land on, and then once we're up there we will build out a space station. So we're going to first plug the hole I just made. Then we got to decide what we want our space station to look like. So basically I'm just going to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to make a 7x7 platform as our space station. And then I think if I understand correctly, when we land up there, we will be in empty space with a 7x7 platform and our rocket sitting in the middle of it. And so we can take building materials with us and build our space station from there. So the only thing I'm worried about is we got to do two things. We've got to add a satellite bay to our rocket. So I hit disassemble, and we're going to throw a satellite bay on it. So that's going to change its weight a bit. So now let's scan it. So I didn't break my structure tower by putting this here, so that's good. And we are scanning and scanning. I didn't need to make my structure tower so tall. I just basically used what I had. I wasn't sure what our rocket was going to look like until I started tinkering with it. So it is clear for liftoff. It still has plenty of thrust. Still uses the same amount of fuel. So we are good there. I think we are clear to build it. So now this will come back down and turn it from a bunch of single blocks back into a multi-block structure. Alrighty, so now we can shift right click on it, and it has a satellite bay and a guidance computer. Cool. I think we want to try and click. Whoa, no, that's not what we wanted to do. So unfortunately it did void all the fuel that we had left over in the rocket, so that's no bueno. We've got to deal with the whole space station ID situation. So let me put that on pause for right now. We might need to disassemble that put in a space station into the our space station ID chip into the guidance computer once we have one. Oh, and that's not liking something. Oh, I think this thing might need a power input thing under it. I seem to remember reading that. Let's see if it actually says in the quest book here. Space Station Assembler. You will need the same setup as for building rockets, the only differences being you don't need fuel. So we're going to build that platform, and when we say it's built, it's going to compress it into an item form. The item needs to be launched into space with a rocket with a satellite bay. Check. The rocket will be lost unless you give it a guidance computer. We're going to do that with the Space Station ID chip in it, in which case it'll land on the newly made space station. Yeah, that's the plan. And we can travel there. So yeah, that's all good. So, it doesn't really say, but I seem to remember reading somewhere that, let's see, what would that be? That would be at advanced input. I think it's the plug. I think that's what those are called. Alright, let's look at it from here. So now I think I'm remembering we might need a power input plug. I do have some spares of those. So let's see what happens if we put a power input plug there. And then that there. Yes, no, maybe. Hey, there we go. All right, so let's replace our divot. And now we can do the thing. So apparently what we do here, I think, so I made 3 space station IDs because we want to make sure we have a backup so we don't lose our space station. But I think the first thing we do is put one in and build it. Now the question is, what do we want to build it out of? I'd sort of like to build it out of this, but I don't know if that would mess it up, if it would confuse the multi-block if I put another layer of launch pad on it. So maybe instead we do something like this. We've got some of these, so those would make a nice perimeter. It did force us to make gravity generator and oxygen stuff, so if we make our space station sealed off, we can have air and gravity there. Don't know that we necessarily need to do that, but we could. And then I guess maybe just our usual laboratory block tiles that we're using in the base. Alright, so that is going to be our space station, or at least the seed of it. So our rocket is 3 by 3, so it's going to take up this area. We will hop off and we will start building from there. Let's see what happens if we hit build. Nada. What else do we need here? We got power, we got a chip. Wonder what that's for. I think that's where this spits out when it's done. Wonder what that's for. I think that icon looks familiar. I think there's a satellite empty chassis. Maybe we need one of those to put in there. I'm going to pause the recording, check our runtime, and find out. I have a feeling we need to make one of these to put there, and then this and this combine when we hit build. But let me just double check that, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I just spaced out. The satellite builder is what we're going to need to build satellites, or to copy our space station ID chip. Oddly enough, we need the space station assembler to actually make a space station. So I think we got to put one of those unprogrammed ones in there, and then scan, and it says it's missing a satellite bay. So maybe we need two of those, one for the rocket and one for the space station. Satellite bay. Roger, roger. So maybe we put that in there and then scan. Hey, we're scanning. And it is letting us share our structure tower with our rocket. So that's cool. Bada bing. Ready. Build. So now, sort of like our compact machines, it's going to shrink this down into an item, and then we can plop that item into the rocket. Is it in here? Space station container and station 1 ID. So that's the one we want to make a backup of. So we can put station 1 ID there and put an unprogrammed one there, and then write to secondary chip. Working. And now we have two of the station 1 IDs. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. And then we'll just throw those spares in our ME system so that if we ever lose either our rocket or our space station, we'll be able to figure it out. So now, I think we probably need to disassemble this. And then in our satellite bay, can we click on it? Uh-oh. Things are getting a little lag spiky. I think because I was teleporting, I teleported up to Luna to check on our void miner and teleported back. And I think when I teleport switch dimensions a lot, it starts to get a little freaky. Alright, so it looks like we have crashed. I will pause the recording and be right back. Okay, I think we are recovered. So we want to, I think, if we want to ride this to our space station, we need to see, we've got, we want to take the Earth out of the guidance, Earth chip out of there. And we want to put the Station 1 into our guidance computer. And we want to put the space station container into the satellite bay. And we should be good to go now. So We can scan it, and hopefully the added weight of the satellite bay doesn't torpedo our design here. And we have plenty of fuel, we've got plenty of thrust, we are good to go. So now we should be able to hit build. And when it's done, we should be able to hop on it in Destination Space Station 1, and it will assemble our platform and land us on it. So the next things we're going to do is we got to make sure we got all our stuff, got all the things we want. So I've already crafted a sign for some of the planets we're going to go to. So I want to make sure that we can teleport to and from our space station. I'm going to keep the Earth chip on us in case we need to redirect the rocket from the station in some way. Put those back up here. Put those back up here. So we should be efficient. Well, let's see, we gotta fuel this bad boy again. How am I doing on pyrotheum? 195 buckets, so we should be beautiful. So I need the linking tool, I think, to shift right click on the fuel station and then on the rocket. And that's going down, so that should be filling up with 24 buckets. Now, the other thing we want to do is we're going to be building some structures up there. So the only one I'm sure we need, I'm not necessarily 100% sure I care about giving it oxygen and gravity and CO2 scrubbers. I'm not sure I really need to do that. However, I'm going to go ahead and throw those up there, and we'll take them up there just in case we want to try. We should bring some sort of storage up there with us. Oh, that's one thing we can do. We can check on my dilithium crystal production, because that is what fuels the warp drive. So we got dilithium ore. I crushed it and I threw it in here. And this is dilithium crystals. Yes. So this is the crystallizer. And I'll load it up one more time and show you guys how this works. I've made a ton of this stuff, but better to have too much than not enough. That's my motto. So we'll just craft up the rest of this. Whoa, still a little bit laggy here. I mean, it may need to restart my computer before we head to our space station. But yeah, that's sort of cool. You just throw the crushed dilithium dust in there, and it makes the thingamaboobs. So we're going to want to bring some of those. I think the place we'll be using those is on the space station to power the warp drive. So I've made a ton of those. So we can bring that. I should bring a container for us to leave on our space station. Do I have a shulker chest? Can I make a shulker chest? Maybe. Okay, that looks a bit more involved than I care about at this moment. So we can just, let's bring an iron chest. That looks good. Good enough. If I were smart, I would set up an ender chest pair. Let's do that. We'll we'll take one end of an interchest pair there, and we'll put one of these down at our liftoff area, and then we will take one with us to the space station. And what else? We should probably take all the building materials we want to make for the station itself. In fact, building in space may sort of suck. I do have the Angel Ring and Creative Flight, so that won't be too horrible, but I sort of want to just plop something out there and get moving. I want to warp to another planet. So we're going to have a platform. I think what I'm going to do is, whoops, not that. Teleport up here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, we know we're going to start with a seed of 7 by 7. I can make a structure that is, let's see, I can make a structure that is from here and goes out about, I'd sort of like to make a flying saucer shape. So what I might do is I might make a structure that is a sort of a circular pie wedge, so 1/4 of a circle that goes out this way, and then copy it into our building gadgets copy and paste tool. And so then what I can do is I can paste it, and that will extend out that direction. And then I can rotate and paste it on this corner, and then rotate and paste it on that corner, and so on and so forth, until we build a big circular structure around us. And then bring all the mats that I need to do that. I think that's going to be the plan. So my ship's going to be in the way though, so I need to plan out, my rocket will be there, so I can't put it there. So I might have to start here, and then that will leave us with empty spots in between each of the 4 pie wedges, but then we can just fill it in with like a builder's wand or the builder tool. So that's, I think, a plan. So we'll make something that starts here, has like 4 dummy blocks, and then goes off in that direction. We'll make these blocks here stairs, and then we will make the rest of the pie wedge into like a room, and then we will rotate and have stairs in a room here, stairs in a room here, stairs in a room here. We'll just paste, 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 paste. Then we'll use the building wand to connect them in between, and then we can remove the dummy blocks that are going to place down here. And I think that will do it. So I'm going to pause here, check our runtime, and maybe whip that up and copy it into our copy paste tool from Building Gadgets. And then once we have that, I think we're about ready to head up there. So I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I have roughed out 1/4 of our space station. I had these silly looking Futura blocks that I wanted to use, and if ever I was going to use them, a space station seems like the right time. So this will be like the edge of my space station landing platform. So my rocket will be about here. I'm going to copy and paste this structure, and we will place it here, and we'll place it layered on top of our landing station, which will put an extra spot there, and then I'll delete that. And then we can put some stairs here. I'll bring some aluminum scaffolding stairs. I made some of those. I think those will look okay. And that will lead up to ineffable glass, which will be the entrance into our sealed area if we decide to give it a sealed environment. These are enlightened fused quartz for windows and skylight, so it should be nice and bright. And so if you can imagine, when we go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there will be another room like that off in that direction. And then what we'll do is we'll just use the builder's wand to doink, 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 connect them up. And so we'll connect that one to this section, and then to that section, and then to that section. And it should be pretty good to go. So all I'm really going to do now, I'm probably only going to have one entry with stairs. So the other corners will probably replace. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to copy it without the ineffable glass, just to save on. I don't think I have enough to put ineffable glass large doorways in each corner. So we'll go ahead and wall this, but then when we build it, we can just remove a section of wall and put in that doorway. Yeah, so we'll build it like this. We'll build 4 rooms in each corner like this. We'll connect them. It'll take several blocks to connect them, but we can just builder's wand, boink, 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 across. And then we'll pick one corner and carve out a doorway. And we'll put some stairs in that corner, and we'll just fill in the space on the other ones. And yeah, I think that's about good. Do I like the skylight? Don't know that I quite like the skylight like that. Let me go ahead and change it to, let's see. That's exactly what it was at before, wasn't it? Oh, well, close enough. So let me get out the copy paste tool. And the monsters are showing up already. Copy paste tool. So the other thing we need to do is we need to make a block out here to act as a as the other end of our copying. So let's see, we're going to need, you know what, I'm going to pause the recording here, wait until daylight to do this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a block up in this corner so that we can copy everything from the ceiling of this corner down to the base of there. We'll get that in our tool. That will show me how much I need of everything, so I'll make sure that I have all the mats we need to take with us. Then I'll destroy this so that I have those mats with me. And once we're all ready to go, I will be back. Okay, real quick, it's now daytime and I've got my reference block here. So hold G, make sure we're in copy mode. Right click in empty air to reset. Okay, let's try that again. So we're going to copy this. So this is one bounding box block for our structure. So you can see it's lined up with the top over there and the top over there. And then we'll show the rest of the cube by clicking there. Area copied. See what it says here. And no, it's screwed up. I'm still not used to doing this. We're going to clear. Copy there. And there. Aha. So now you can see the white lines, the outlines of the area. So this is what we're going to be pasting. So we will have a block out here floating in space, but I can go out there with Creative Flight and mine that. And so that's what we're going to be pasting in the four corners of our space station. And now if we mouse over this and hit shift, we can see that it's going to cost 256 of my laboratory blocks and 40 enlightened quartz and 15 Futura blocks and one launch pad block, although I'm going to make that with paste. That cloudy thing on the far right, 168, that's just paste, so we'll make that with paste. So I need a total of 45 Futura blocks, which I have, or no, 60, because we're going to have four corners, plus whatever I want to use to connect to them. So 60 plus some, so I have enough Futura blocks. And we're going to need 160 of the enlightened fused quartz. So I might make a few more of that. And we're going to need 256 times 4. So we're going to need like 1,000 plus what we need to connect it. We'll just try and get the corners out first, and then I can always teleport back and get more stuff. But I'm going to fill up a backpack with materials, and then we should be ready to teleport off. Be right back. All right, we got a bunch of material on us. We got a bunch of other stuff in bags. Brought some paste, construction paste, just in case we didn't bring enough stuff. If we right click on our rocket, it is fueled. If we, let's just take off. Destination Station 1. Let's stop dithering and just go. And we are off. See ya, Enderman. This is going to take several times before it gets old. That's funny. Alrighty. So hopefully this will be a pretty quick trip. This episode is getting a bit long, but that's okay. They've all been getting a bit long lately. I was going to originally keep the series to 30 minutes each, but bottom line is an hour just feels better. Get more stuff done. Press space to descend. Let's descend. It's giving me a bit of agoraphobia there. So I think it has already created a 7x7 landing pad under itself. And I think we are coming in for a landing on it. And then we will try to copy paste our four corners and probably call it an end right there. And then I will finish the construction, and we can start up next episode with a ready to go space station. Yikes. Alright, so I'm here. My landing pad is so small I can't actually see it. But we do have flight, so there we go. Oof, that lack of gravity is a little disorienting. Alright, so obviously this just feels very precarious. So I'm going to hurry up and try and get us some stuff done. So we're in paste. Let's see, so I need that stuff in my inventory here. So 256, that's It's about 5 of those. We need about one of those. One of those. How's that looking? That's good. The only thing we're missing is the launch pad thing, but I'm going to make that with paste and destroy it anywho. So now, so it's defaulting to want to do this corner, so we may as well do that. And boom. There we go. We have one corner of our space station done. So I'm going to put some aluminum scaffolding stairs there and some ineffable glass there. And that will be our entry point. But let's go ahead and make more corners. So now we need to rotate. And boom. So I'll bridge that area with a building tool. And then we need to hold G and rotate again. And that will be... It's getting a little cramped in here. We'll go there. Whoa, no, not there. There. And then we will hold G and rotate again. And whoa. Definitely the low gravity is a bit screwy. It's taking some getting used to. All right, so now let's see. I think I'm going to just end the episode here, and I'll finish up construction and close this up. We want to set a teleportation spot, but I sort of want to do it inside. So I want to keep building and then set up my space station sign to teleport us here. But to do that, I sort of need to finish this, but this episode's going a bit long. So I'm going to fill in the holes between our sections and make a door and some stairs here. And we can get rid of these construction paste. Don't hit the rocket. Get rid of those spacers. And at the beginning of next episode, I'll show you what it looks like in its finished form. And we can start working on, we can place the warp core and see about traveling to other planets. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, just a quick epilogue. In between my rotations, I forgot to bring more stuff out of my backpack. So my second, third, and fourth iterations were actually all construction paste, which wouldn't matter too much, but I do want the enlightened glass to actually be enlightened glass, because fake enlightened glass won't be a light source. So I am just placing those down again and making sure that we actually have the real stuff. So anyway, that's it. We're going to do that, and we're going to button this up, and I'll see you next time.